Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Just Seen podcast. And today, as you've seen from the title, and as you know from the series that we're going on, we're going to be continuing on with the 12 laws of the universe. Specifically, today we're going into the Law of Correspondence. Now, this law is one of this. This law kind of all of them go in sync with each other, right? But this law kind of piggybacks off the law of vibration. Because as we're seeing, we're going from oneness to the vibration, which creates the cycles. Now we're going into correspondence. Correspondence is basically the proverbial, as above, so below, as within, so without ideation. So basically what correspondence is whatever vibration you're on is the vibration that you experience in the world, right? In addition to that, whatever vibration you gravitate towards in the world will ultimately vibrate within you, right? And this law, the law of correspondence, it goes from from basically your internal world to your external world to your internal world. If you want to know what's going on internally, just pay attention to what's going on around you. If you want to know why things are going the way they're going around you, look what's going on the inside of you, right? This law is, again, it's laws. These are laws. So that means that within them being laws, nothing is it's gonna be at play 100% of the time. So one of the easiest ways in identifying the law of correspondence at play is the cleanliness of your environment, the structure of your environment, right? And it could be something simple. Like one thing that I've learned from dealing with people, and even just talking to my mom and shit growing up, she used to always cleaning up was cleanliness is next to godliness. Like cleaning up is so important. But even deeper than that, it's like when I learned that my external world is a manifestation of my internal world, I was able to see that based off how my living space was. From your room to your bathroom to your house to everything, your car. How that is expressed oftentimes shows what's going on inside of you. You feel me? So it's like and they work in a one-to-one way. So it's one of those things where if you clean up, and I'm meaning this literally and figuratively, if you clean up your external world, you start to clean up your internal world. Or you have a better vision, or you have a clearer vision within your internal world. When you clean up your internal world, your external world cleans up as well. You feel what I'm saying? So this law is very powerful. It's very powerful, but it's very necessary, and it's very compounding off of the ideation of oneness. So going from oneness, we know that from the law of oneness, from the one come the all, therefore the all is the one. But in even deeper than that, when it's divine oneness, divinity is about understanding singularity, duality, and divinity together. Singularity is when you're basically not understanding. Singularity is when you are not in connection, and not in singularity is not when you're in balance with the duality that creates divinity, and divinity is when you are in balance with the duality from singularity. You feel me? The law of vibration, as we know, is when it's your frequency. You feel me? Your frequency. Your frequency is the repetitive nature of the things that you do on a regular basis. Your cycles per unit of time. So that generates your vibration, and that compounds and they build and they lead into the law of correspondence. So your habits, the shit that you do on a regular basis, generates the shit that is done to you on a regular basis, or the shit that you experience on a consistent in a consistent flow, on a consistent rhythm. We'll get to that when we actually talk about the law of rhythm. That's a couple laws down, so we're nowhere near that. But these laws, like the 4 levels of the mind, they're not in hierarchies. Again, back to the beginning when I was talking about shit's like the Wu-Tang Clan. Each one can stand independently, but they're still a unit. You know what I'm saying? And they're a cohesive unit that all still works together. You feel what I'm saying? So in the law of vibration, when I was talking, I was mentioning, and it's a reason why this didn't come out the way it was supposed to in the law of vibration. But during the law of vibration, I made reference to spirals. You feel me? The vibration is a circle. You feel me? That's how your cycles begin. cycles run from, start to end, start to end. Now, with the law of correspondence, you start to get direction with your cycles. You feel what I'm saying? You get direction with your cycles, and this is what makes spirals. You typically hear people say, "Oh, such and such may have spiraled out of control." We often tie things to spiraling out of control, but we rarely tie things to spiraling in control. And both of these aspects are codified within the law of correspondence. Hence why the theme and the lesson and the message of the law of correspondence is as above, so below, as within, so without. This is what our ancestors were referencing when they said that. You feel me? Yeah, motherfuckers say it now, but I got the shit from my motherfucking ancestors, bro. Like when I was studying Kemet and I was studying African spirituality and then studying the laws of the universe. One thing that is always big is as above, so below, as within, so without, which comes into knowledge of self and different things of that nature. So we're going to dive into all of that shit today and really break down the law of correspondence and show how it works, how effective it is, how ineffective it can be, and how it plays in as a law in totality. But, before we dive heavy into that, be sure to follow me on Instagram at No, that's not it. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at Seen the Light. Be sure to hit on my website at IamJustSeen.com to get all things that are just seen. To all those who tip, donate, and sponsor to the podcast, you are greatly appreciated. To all those who would like to tip, donate, and sponsor to the podcast, you can do so by clicking the link in the description of the podcast. Not the episode, but the podcast itself. And as you know, Cash App and PayPal are just fine. So you know the vibes. That's that for this and that's this for that. So we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to dive into... This one should be simple to name. We're going to dive into correspondence. As above, so with... that shit's too long. We're going to dive into correspondence. As above, so below. As within, so without. And don't forget to visit IamJustSeen.com. There, you can get all things Just Seen. You want to add the So For Real series to your library? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You want to learn how to master the markets for serious trading and investing? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You want to get your hands on some exclusive merch like tees, hoodies, coffee mugs, hats, bags? Visit IamJustSeen.com. Are you thinking about transitioning into the plant-based lifestyle? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You ever want to just chat with Seen about anything from simple advice to mentorship? Visit IamJustSeen.com. Anything and everything that is me, you can find at IamJustSeen.com. So take a quick peek into my world to see why being just seen is nothing less but always more. Because you never really know what you need until you see it. And you will never see it unless you visit IamJustSeen.com. All right. Welcome back. And without further ado, we're going to dive heavy into this motherfucker. And chances are the title is changed because I didn't even like that shit as I just said it. So whatever the title is, that's what it is. But it's something about correspondence. But any hizzle, any whizzay, when we look at the law of correspondence, right? This law is very, very powerful. All the laws are very, very powerful. But this law is specifically powerful because this ties into knowing who you are. Knowing who you are is a segue in a transitionary phase in knowing what your vibrations are, which means knowing your daily habits, knowing your routines, knowing the things that structure you, because those are the things that create your life. The law of correspondence is the first law that steps into you creating your life. You feel what I'm saying? It steps into you creating your life. You can be as phenomenal as you want to be, as educated as you want to be, but the law of correspondence will not lie to you, and the law of correspondence will always be at play and tell you what life you're currently creating for yourself. What life you have created for yourself, and what life you will create for yourself. Because as above, so below, as within, so without. When we're tying this into the bigger picture, this is what I mean when I say that the powers that be, or the niggas that we say is running shit, what they're doing with these laws is that I want you to vibrate on a frequency that creates the life that I need you to have. You feel what I'm saying? Because whatever it is that I put you into, I now need to create something that's going to continue. One of the biggest things that we look at that works so well, we can't figure out why it works so well. Well, we can, but we choose to ignore it, is the pharmaceutical company. The pharmaceutical company is one of the businesses, one of the companies, and one of the entities that actually use the law of correspondence above most things, right? I create the necessary conditions to I create the necessary conditions within you to make sure the world outside of you I can capitalize on by giving you some medicine in some way, shape, or form. So when we look at things like the FDA, food and drug, why is food and drugs administered together if food and drugs are not the same thing? Right? Because your internal body, your internal composition of your body is all biochemical. Everything you consume, everything you eat is biochemical. It is designed for your body to use the chemicals in a biological way to make you function a certain way. So the tone is set and the law of correspondence is used in such a way that I'm going to create the internal world that I need you to have. So when that external world comes out, I can be in position. For example, ADHD, attention deficit hyperactive disorder, or whatever the fuck it's called. But it's people say you have problems with attention. You know, you can't maintain your attention. That is already wired within you in your internal world to make sure it manifests in your external world. You feel what I'm saying? One way in particular is TV. It's programming. You know what I'm saying? TV is beyond just setting the daily rituals and routines that are going to make you, that are going to program your imagination, but it's also designed to go with the law of correspondence. Imagination, the law of correspondence, all these things go hand in hand. They fucking go together, bro. They go together in such a way that I know what vibration, I'm going to put you on this vibration to make sure that you correspond a certain way. Right? I'm going to make this law happen. This law has to happen, but I have to put the necessary pieces in motion. Right? So I know that you have ADHD. I'm going to recommend Prozac. I'm going to say you can't sit still. I'm not going to tie it to the fact that no child can sit still for 8 hours straight. No adult can sit still for 8 hours straight. No person can sit still for 8 hours straight. Why? Because the nervous system is not wired to be still for 8 hours straight. As humans, naturally, we're designed to stay moving. Movement is supposed to happen. When you think about it in context, there's 24 hours in a fucking day. 8 hours we are asleep. 8 hours we're doing recreational shit, whatever we're doing. But 8 hours out of that, we're working, right? We're working. And they want us working in a space, whether it be school or whatever it is, where we're sitting still for 8 hours. The nervous system is not the nervous system, which is the soul. The nervous system is not moving for 8 hours. That is impossible to do. It has to move. It has to move. A body in motion, an object in motion stays in motion until another force is acted upon it. You feel me? It's one of the laws of motion. Like, you're supposed to be in motion. A law of motion you're supposed to be in at all times. But when I take you out of that law of motion, now I can tell you that, oh, you're not normal because you won't sit still. No, bitch, I'm not sitting still because I'm not supposed to be. You mean to tell me for a third of a day? A third of a day. Now, I'm going to put it in, we're going to multiply this shit. But a third of the day for 8 hours, I want you to be still. Fuck the 8 hours where you were still when you were asleep. So now that compounds, that means 2/3 of your day. You are now still. It is all stillness. When your body is meant to be both still and active, you have two systems within your body that is parasympathetic and sympathetic mode, fight or flight, rest and digest. You should find and be in an even flow between the two. So if you're sleeping for 8 hours and you're working for 8 hours, but while you're working for 8 hours, you're also being still, you're kind of contradicting and violating what your nervous system naturally goes with. And then to only be able to play or to be active and moving for another 8 hours out of the day, but we're not even going to give it a full 8 hours because you got to drive home from work. That takes some time out of it. You have to be with your kids and your family. That takes some time out of it. So we'll be modest and say we'll give you 4 hours. We'll give you 4 fucking hours. So 2/3 of your hours you being still and only 4 hours you're being active or whatever the case may be. But in being active, where are you at? What are you doing when you're being active? I'm going to go to the gym for like an hour, 2 hours or whatever the case may be. And that leaves me 2 other hours where where I'm going to go back and chill. I'm going to go back and sit still. I'm going to go back and be, you know what I'm saying? I'm not able to be active. So tying this back to ADHD, when you sit a child in a colorful environment, full of reds, yellows, oranges, blues, and all of these other things, it's easy to diagnose them with something mentally. It's easy to diagnose them with not having attention because now all of this vibrant shit is catching my attention. If you go in nature, which is where we're supposed to be to stimulate our systems and go to see our, like, you go in nature, you have a different calm, but at the same time in nature, you're attentive to every color. It's designed, it's like, it's supposed to be that way. You feel what I'm saying? Because your attention is supposed to be on something for as long as it can hold your attention. You dig what I'm saying? When your attention changes, that's when the scenario should change, but it doesn't. So because of that, they use the law of correspondence to say, you know what? We can recommend some medicine because we know that this law is going to be at play. But now before we can do that, we have to put them on the vibration that allows them to not be attentive, not be able to hold their attention. So from birth up until they start school, we're going to make sure that their programming makes them 100% active. It's going to make their mind 100% active. Everything I see is 100% active. So when you're learning something new, whatever that is, your mind expands with it. You can't hold attention because your mind is trying to take things from your imagination and make connecting pieces, right? They don't give us the necessary imagination and information in order to focus our attention. I'm going to say that again. They don't give us the necessary imagination. They don't give us the necessary information. They don't teach us in such a way that we learn the necessary things for our attention to be held. I brag a lot. Well, it ain't really bragging. I just talk the shit. And I talk about how I learned words that I've learned because I understood the concept that a picture is worth 1,000 words. Therefore, one word can conjure 1,000 pictures. If I don't understand the words that I speak or the words that I know or the words that I say or the words that are said to me, my mind has to run through the database of things that are available for me to even put shit together. So this goes into one of those realities where if you've ever been reading and everything's flowing, everything's fluid, you get to a word or a phrase or a sentence or something, a concept you don't understand. Your mind, as you're reading it, is trying to paint pictures and say, what is this saying to me? What can I see out of this? And if you don't have the necessary vocabulary to see it, your mind creates whatever scenario it wants. It literally creates whatever fucking scenario it wants. And in creating these scenarios that it wants to create is going to generate a reality that either allows you to focus on this thing or be unfocused on it. You feel what I'm saying? We're in a space where motherfuckers like, the attention span of an adult is less than that of a goldfish. A goldfish attention span runs between 6 to 8 seconds. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. So it's like, if you don't catch my attention from the jump, I'm off it. You feel what I'm saying? If you don't catch my attention from the jump, I'm off it. And the reason why you can't catch my attention is because I don't have the imagination for my attention to be held. I have an imagination for my attention to not be held. Excuse me. You feel me? I have the imagination for my attention to not be held. How dangerous is that? How dangerous is that? That means even when I'm focusing on some shit, I can't be focused. And people think focus is if I can just look and stare and be still. Focus ain't got nothing to do with being still or none of that shit. You cannot focus heavily until you have the imagination necessary to focus you. Now, what is your imagination? Looney Tunes, fucking Dragon Ball Z, Transformers, fucking Sailor Moon, fucking, I'm trying to incorporate all of them, both men and women, so we got all the Power Rangers. Like, as kids, these are the things that we're watching as we're growing up. Some of us were advanced and we were watching older shit. Shouldn't have been, but we were watching older shit. So our attention is heavily tied to that. Right? So now when I control your attention, and when I can control your attention, now I can control whether or not you're going to be educated a certain way. The education system is not designed to teach you shit. It is designed to steer your attention, redirect your attention, or make your attention run loose. So either you're going to become a productive motherfucker at the end of the day, or you're going to be an unproductive motherfucker who can't do shit. But we got something for you. We got something for you, because this is the law of correspondence. When I know what you are within, I know what you're going to be without. Because I'm making you what I want you to be without. goes into Rockefeller. I talked about this in one of the previous seasons where he was saying, I don't want a nation of thinkers. I need a nation of workers because thinkers can hold attention. Thinkers can hold your attention. You feel what I'm saying? One thing that I've learned, and I had a girlfriend in college that she kind of got upset with this. She didn't like this, that I could do this, but it's just something that I do. And I understand now why I do this because it's in alignment with the law of correspondence. People say when you speak, people stop and listen. And I understood why, because I can deliver the words and I can deliver the message in such a way that I grab your attention. I grab your attention because I know how to put shit into your imagination. I know what's in your imagination already. So I know how to use a metaphor. I know how to use an example. I know how to tell a story according to what's in your imagination so you can see what I'm saying. What episode was that when I was talking about that? Images, imagery, imagination, something. I got some previous episodes on that shit too. But in that, I know how to deliver the message, but I'm in alignment with the law of correspondence. So as I'm corresponding to you, as within, so as above, so below, as within, so without, I can take things that are above your normal comprehension. And it's not to shit on you or to say you're not up there with me, but I know where motherfuckers really are. You feel me? So it's not me trying to shit on people and say, oh, I know you're not on my level. But because I know that some people might not be on my level, I know how to bring it to their level. So as above, so below. So I can take something that's above and bring it down to where it's below, and I can give it to somebody and hold their attention. And then as within, so without, I can tell you what's within me, and that's also within you, and bridge the gap to what this external world is exhibiting, so to speak. You feel what I'm saying? And I learned this early on because, like I said, I had people who would tell me, yo, when you speak, you can command a room. You know what I'm saying? Like, people stop and listen to you because it's because of the law. It's because of the law of correspondence. I'm not going to get into like, I'm blessed and it's a divine gift. No, it's just something that I've already been able to tap into. If you listen to the 300 episode that I did where I was talking about when I got hit by a car and I went to the other side, people they can't believe me when I tell them that what you think is God, what you think is Allah, source, or whatever, it's not that. It's not that. You feel me? I seen it. I literally seen it. And I seen it without imagination. So because I didn't have imagination, I seen it in its purest form. And it was like, all of the shit that I'm giving y'all was given to me then. I just had to remember it. It was given to me then. And while it was given to me then, it was given to me in the imagery. It was not given to me in words because I didn't have words to actually identify it. But because of that, because I received all of the images, now my quest in the remainder of the life that I have to use to see and give everything back is to be able to put the words to it. A picture is worth 1,000 words, and a words can conjure 1,000 images. I have to get to the right words to create the right images within people for people to see. You feel what I'm saying? Now, by no means, because I was just watching this video on, the spiritual community and how, like, no means am I trying to manipulate you. No means am I trying to get you to follow my path. I'm trying to get you to see what I'm seeing on a regular basis. That's it. You feel what I'm saying? And it's not to see it how I see it, but it's to see it how it needs to be seen for you. You feel what I'm saying? And meeting that on that common ground that actually puts it into context, right? This is the law of correspondence. So when we say as above, so below, that part of the as above, so below shows that there are no hierarchies in this world. Regardless of what classisms that they put us in or what shit that they make, there are no hierarchies in this world. You feel me? What's the song with Jay, No Church in the Wild? Human beings to a mob. What's a mob to a king? What's a king to a god? What's a god to a non-believer? That's the law of correspondence. As above, so below. If I don't believe internally about a God, if I don't believe in God internally, externally, gods don't exist to me. Externally, there are no gods in my world. You feel what I'm saying? So when you say some shit like, I'm going to pray for you, or you try to put something on somebody, if they don't correspond with that within, it won't correspond without. This is one of the things that I was talking about. Law of correspondence is at play when you hear me mention how when people left religion and they came to spirituality and all they saw was demons. As above, so below, as within, so without. You feel me? Because the as above, so below shows that there's no hierarchy. And There's as above, so below shows that there is no hierarchy, but as within, so without shows that there is only oneness. Everything's the same. And everything is equal. It's just opposite magnitudes, but everything is the same. Everything is equal as it's supposed to be. And it has to honor the law in order to do that. You dig what I'm saying? So if somebody says, like I said, what's a king to a god? Right? And what's a god to a non-believer? But then at the same time, it's like, what is a non-believer to a mob? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like all of these things, it's like no one thing is greater than the other. By a law of a reality, no one thing is greater than the other, yet we live in hierarchies. You dig what I'm saying? So now when we look at, if you study the tree of life and you go from Kether to Malkuth, right? I talk about this a lot. You go from Kether to Malkuth and you see there's no distance. There's no difference between them. This is why I teach y'all and I tell y'all that religion has mythology, ritual, and allegory. The whole concept of Jesus and God, the whole concept of Muhammad and Allah, the whole concept of the basic human, and then their intercession with the God, and then them being one and the same, is what this is. They're not going to teach you the allegory because they want you lost in the mythology, because as long as you're lost in the mythology, you'll never develop the necessary rituals, which develop the routines and the habits, put you on the right vibration to understand how to correspond within this world. You feel what I'm saying? So when people have left religion and they came into the conscious community or the spiritual community or whatever the case may be, and they're like, all I saw was demons and dark forces. And no, that's not all you saw. That's all that's within you. That means that because that's all that's within you. That's always going to be what's without you. You feel me? On the outside of you, your external world. So it's like you battling demons on the inside, and these demons just came out in another form. These motherfuckers that said whatever they said about spirituality and religion and all of that shit still are operating under the same mentality because it's within them. It doesn't matter what medium you put me in if this is the source. You feel me? I'm not trying to shit on her. I'm not trying to shit on her in any way, shape, or form, but she's a perfect example of that because she's more recent to what she is. B. Simone. You feel me? She was in the spiritual things, and what she said, yeah, you trying to use rose quartz to find a man or whatever the case may be, blah, blah, blah. It's no different than praying that God sends you the man. You know what I'm saying? So she's like, yeah, I'm going back to the religion. You got to be covered in the blood, blah, 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 and this, that, and the third. She still ain't got no man. Like, this ain't no, like, I'm trying to shit on her, but it does, like, you still don't have a man because it's not in you to be in a relationship with a man. I'm not calling her homosexual or no shit like that, but there's something within you that doesn't create that external world. It doesn't matter whether you're covered by the blood. It doesn't matter whether you're covered by the Ankh. It doesn't matter whatever it is, whether you believe in an Orisha, a Loa, fucking God, whatever. Whatever's within you is going to be what's without you. You feel what I'm saying? Children already understand this law of correspondence. They have to be forced into being manipulated against the law of correspondence through indoctrination. And it happens so early. This is one of the reasons why it's like, why do people give up the church? Why do people walk away from the church? The real reason why people walk away from the church, because whether they're willing to admit this or not, but this is something that I had to come to terms with accepting, whether they're willing to admit this or not, they know that I don't see what they're telling me I'm supposed to see. What's within is not without. But I'm now psyching myself out to believe that it is. That's where insanity develops. As crazy as it is, and as fucked up as this is about to sound, insanity is a function. Insanity and sanity are both functions of the law of correspondence. If you are insane, it's because the law of correspondence is at play. If you are sane, it's because the law of correspondence is at play, because the vibration that you're on is either going to produce insanity or sanity. You feel what I'm saying? Because as above, so below, as within, so without. So back to the people that I was in, I went to the spirit, and all these people they evil, they manipulative. Those people are exactly the same way as if they would have been in a religion. Those people will be the exact same as if they're not in a religion, because it's not about the template. It's not about the buffer. It is about the self. These laws are at play no matter what it is you believe in, because they manifest based off everything you understand or everything you don't. So when you hear me talk about, you have belief, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, conscious, subconscious, unconscious, mind, emotion, thought. The whole mind is an entity. It is a beautiful thing that has so many dynamics and components to it, right? But to get to understanding, you have to go through belief, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. You have to go belief, knowledge, and then wisdom. So you have to have experience and shit. It is the experiences that we have that can determine what's within us, because those things serve store within our nervous system. This is why I say the nervous system is the soul. Quick back check, quick flow in what we're talking about. If you don't have to believe what I'm saying, but I need you to understand what I'm saying. When I say that the soul is the nervous system, it's because it is. Like, that's what your soul is. When people say you sold your soul, you gave your soul up, whatever the case may be, you give your nervous system up. I want you to see it from above on the below side. When your nervous system is your soul. Now, when people say you reach it, now, if the nervous system is not the soul, why are the eyes the windows to it? If the eyes are the windows to the soul, how are they the windows to the soul? What are the eyes connected to? The optic nerve. What is the optic nerve connected to? Your brain. What is your brain? Your central nervous system. So the eyes are the windows to what? The central nervous system. And if the soul is the window, if the eyes are the windows to the soul, they're equally the windows to the nervous system. Now, your nervous system and your soul is what makes you move. Mentally, physically, and spiritually. It's what makes you, I ain't gonna say what makes you move. It's what gives you action. So when people say you gotta follow the will, what is the will? The will is an invigorated nervous system allowing your body to do shit. They don't tell you that will is tied to your nervous system, but they tell you that your will is tied to your soul. They'll tell you seeing is believing, but they'll tell you seeing is believing and eyes are the windows to the soul, but they won't tell you that your nervous system is your soul. You feel what I'm saying? Because now what happens is, what has to happen within the mind is that in order for the correspondence to work, you have to be in a space where you understand what your soul is. Because everything that happens to you, every experience that you had that's going to lead you into understanding, is going to be wired in your soul. This is why when people say, I had this, I lived like this in the past life, I lived like this in the past life, you're not the physical body that lived in the past life. You're the soul that lived in the past life. That soul came down and stored shit, went into another medium, stored shit, went into another medium, stored shit, went into another medium. Through a different time pocket, through a different life. Because the soul is the nervous system. Anything with the nervous system has a soul. Whether or not you're using that soul to produce positive actions, that's a whole different situation. But as long as you're in alignment and doing whatever, you will still honor a universal law, specifically the universal law we're discussing, which is the law of correspondence. All right. I'm doing just a quick pause because a lot of this got to digest. It got to process. You feel me? Got to go to the other half of your nervous system. Rest and digest. When you're looking at the above and below, the within and without, your life is always going to be a manifestation of what that really is. So speaking of, now that I mentioned manifestation, when people say, I want to manifest this, I'm manifesting. Do you know what the fuck manifesting is? Manifesting is when your will is allowed to honor the law of correspondence. I'm going to say that again. Manifestation is when your will aligns and triggers the law of correspondence and makes sure that it is aligned with that and is in direct correlation with this law. Again, these laws are unchangeable, so they're always at play. Now, are you in alignment with the law of correspondence to be beneficial or detrimental? Because your manifestations come from your vibrations, come from your oneness. It comes from what's within. It has to come out. What's above has to be below. You feel what I mean? What's below has to be above. What's without has to be within. So when people say, I want to manifest a certain thing, they look at manifestation as desire. They look at manifestations as wants. They look at manifestations as material objects. And that's where they fuck up, because they only identify the law of correspondence through material shit. Your entire life is a manifestation, a constant manifestation. And it's a constant manifestation based off of what you put within you has to come without you or outside of you. What you put above you has to come below you. What you put below you has to come above you, because that's where the balance is found. You feel what I'm saying? If we put it in a cross, interesting that I'm using the cross. Because if we look at who is it? Who does the shit? Catholics? They do the forehead, the chest, the shoulders when they do when they're doing the Hail Marys, right? You feel me? When they're doing Hail Marys, you go, what is it? Father, Son, Jesus Christ. That's what they teach you. As above, you hit your forehead, then you hit your heart, and then you hit each shoulder. Why do you do that? Why do you do that? Oh, it's because that's how you know. They're going to tell you the shit. They can't lie to you. They can't withhold the information from you. They have to be in alignment because they can't take away your free will, but they don't have to give you the information necessary for you to understand what the fuck it is you're doing in the ritual. The ritual is what puts you in the vibration. But if you don't understand if you don't have the understanding of the ritual, you'll be repeating the ritual while never gaining the understanding. I'm sorry, it's coming down real fast right now. That's why my words are choppy right now. You're not going to get to the point where you understand the ritual enough to align with the vibration to pay attention to what's corresponding in your life. So the whole Father, Son, Jesus Christ thing where you do the cross and everything, that's as above, so below, as within, so without. You feel me? The centerpiece where the cross meets is where these 4 points are now in alignment, or now these 4 points come together, which gives you what? Oneness. You see, this is why I was saying, like, the laws aren't necessarily sequential because each law still operates synergistically with each other. You dig what I'm saying? So when we meet in the middle between what's above and what's below and what's within and what's without, we get the self. And that is the motherfucker right there. That is the motherfucker right there that is responsible for all your manifestations. The life that you live is that center point between as above, so below, as within, so without. If you're looking at it from the perspective of a cross, this is why the number 4 is so fucking important. From a numerological standpoint, why is the number 4 based on foundation? We look at the 4 legs of a chair. We look at the 4 seasons. There's a point when all 4 of these points converge to give a universality of the self. You feel what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if you're looking at it from the 4 elements perspective. It doesn't matter if you're looking at it from the 4 suits of the tarot. It doesn't matter if you're looking at it from the 4 seasons. It doesn't matter if you're looking at it from the 4 angles. It's these points all have to come together and they converge at a point that makes the self, that honors the law of correspondence. It is at that point where the self responds, and now your life is in alignment with both as above, so below, as within, so without. I'm gonna let it breathe a little bit. I know it's going deep. I'm gonna sip my water a little bit while I let y'all digest that shit. But that's how that law plays out, right? And that's how that law begins. So when I tell y'all religion is mythology, ritual, and allegory, this is what I'm talking about. The ritual is supposed to vibrate you into understanding the allegory so you can gain understanding of what it is that you believe in. You feel me? But we don't believe in we believe in everything and we know nothing, which makes us follow these rituals, which makes us adhere to these rituals because now we trust in the people that are giving us this information. And all they do is reaffirm our belief and keep us locked in. But they do not violate the law of correspondence. Because one, by the fact that they're giving you all of the information, you have a choice to either go study it, go find it, or whatever the case may be. You're able to do it. But no, I'm going to trust in this motherfucker who's telling me this shit. I'm not going to go verify what this motherfucker is telling me. Matter of fact, I'm verifying it off of the merit that they may know what I don't know. That's it. That's how we verify motherfuckers. Like, we are validating motherfuckers off of a standard that ain't got shit to do with us. You feel what I'm saying? It ain't got shit to do with us. So when we're building the as above, so below out, when we're fleshing that out, whatever your vibration is, your vibration determines, and this is when I get into the spirals. Your vibration creates the cycles. When you're vibrating up, as above. When you're vibrating down, so below, right? These cycles create the spirals, and these spirals generate both sides of this. The as above, so below, as within, so without. When people are like, yo, you're spiraling out of control. You're spiraling in a way in which your vibration is now in a space now, it has to correspond a certain way. This is why when I say there is no good and evil in this motherfucker, there's only benefit and detriment. Because how you're vibrating will determine the manifestations that you deem are beneficial or detrimental for your life. People who have hard lives, or they say I'm struggling or this, that, and the third, because you vibrate detrimentally. You spiral in it. When your vibration hits, you correspond in a spiral that is now detrimental for your body, for yourself. I ain't even just gonna say your body. You feel me? This is one of the reasons why it's like when people say people don't make changes, drastic changes, until they know they about to die or some shit. You feel me? Because the correspondence is showing that within me, this is not a problem. If you can perceive that a problem is not a problem, you'll correspond according to your life moving as if this is not a problem. There's no urgency for me to do this. You feel me? Which makes people a lot more reactionary than proactionary. And proactionary is not a word, but people are far more reactive than they are proactive. When you show me a motherfucker who's proactive, right, you can tell how they are moving with the law of correspondence. Show me with the person who's reactive. You can see how they are as within the law of correspondence. Your vibration shows that you spiral and you don't do shit until it's an actual problem. You're not even formulating solutions for potential problems that can come. This law is deep. This law is deep. This law is beautiful. I love all the laws. Like, when I really sit and I understand them, because it's like, they show me who I am. They show me what I'm going through. They show me my pain. They show me my joy. They show me these things because when I look at what's corresponding in my life, I have to realize what vibration I'm on. Again, everybody thinks, oh, fuck with me when you get on my frequency and shit. You feel me? Get off your root chakra. Fuck with me when you on the right frequency for me. And people think it's just being smarter than somebody, or no. Show me your habits and I'll show you what you correspond with. All you keep hearing is get into the markets. But do you trade or do you invest? Should you do stocks, forex, crypto, or NFTs? My personal answer is not a single one if you don't know how to read a chart. Without knowing how to read a chart, you end up giving all your money to those who do. Do you know what a candle is? Do you know the pocket of activity? Do you know the difference between market direction and market control? If you answer no at least once, you might want to learn how to read a chart first. Learning how to read a chart will let you know if you should trade or invest, and if you should do stocks, forex, crypto, and or NFTs. It will also let you know if this is even for you or not. So visit IamJustSeen.com to learn how to read charts with my Mastering the Market course, ebooks, and webinars today. The world is changing. The question is, will you adapt with it? Back to this is a quote that I keep mentioning. It keeps coming up. I don't know why, but it keeps coming up within the series. People say, that life you live in the streets, you're either going to end up dead or in jail. That's the correspondence. That's not prophecy. That's the law of correspondence. Half of the shit that we deem as correspondence we deem as prophecy isn't really prophecy. It's the law of correspondence. This is why when I say a prophet is somebody who understands the past, is very acute, very attuned to what's going on in the present, and they can predict the future. It's not about predicting the future. It's as above, so below, as within, so without. From this point, if that's what happened before, that's what's going to happen later. You feel what I'm saying? If these sets of actions happen, and these sets of actions are happening now, and these sets of actions are intended to go on forward, we can predict what's happening. This is not prediction. It's just a law of correspondence. You dig what I'm saying? So when people tell you you're going to be this, you can be this, you could be this, it's because of how the correspondence works. Now, people are just observing what they see without you, and they're anticipating to determine what's within you. This is why when people be like, yo, this person might know me better than I know myself. No, they know your performance. When people be like, yo, I'm telling you about, like, if you are around people and you're performing all the time, there's a misinterpretation of the law of correspondence at play. Because they will assume if this is who you're involving yourself with, if this is what you do on a regular basis, then this is who you are. No, what you don't understand is, like, nigga, this is how I have to perform to survive in this motherfucker. So your whole interpretation of me is wrong. However, it is right in the context that if this is what I'm projecting externally, this is what I am internally. This is when I get to when I tell people, when they say, it wasn't my intentions to do you like that. Was it? Was it? And I even speak on this to myself. There's been moments and times when I told somebody my intention wasn't to be there. Consciously, my conscious intention was not be there. I hadn't, but my vibration was already aligned to do that shit unconsciously. So it was going to happen. It was going to happen because now what's inside of me has to come out. What's above me has to come below me. Like, these things have to meet in a point to where my manifestation comes out this way. My life is going to be in a direct correspondence to what I am vibrating, what I'm currently vibrating on. This ain't no accident, bro. This ain't no accident. They know it, but you don't know it. And if you don't know it, they're going to manipulate you in it. This is why I say knowledge is power, but he or she who has more knowledge over you has the power over you. You feel me? When the conscious community of the 2016 era boomed, everybody was reading the 48 Laws of Power, right? In that time, if you were following me from my other page, if you were rocking with me back in those times, I will always tell the women, read the 48 Laws of Power. If you're going to follow these leaders, make sure you read the 48 Laws of Power. I wasn't telling people to read the 48 Laws of Power in the context of go use this. I read the 48 Laws of Power. I understand the 48 Laws of Power. I understand the art of war, but I also understand the law of correspondence. Don't nothing go above that. You feel me? 48 Laws of Power, those things are unchanging, whatever the case may be, but they ain't got shit on the law of correspondence. You feel me? Because now I have to internalize power in order to exhibit power. You feel me? So what these people are doing is when they read the 48 Laws of Power, they are internalizing it. Now, how they project their power shows how they already felt on the inside. The only difference between manipulation and influence is integrity. But now look at how social media is now played out. Look at what they're programming you to be. Everybody's an influencer. Everybody's an influencer. So how do you become an influencer? Oh, well, if I just obtain information that people don't have, or if I just start teaching and dropping knowledge and shit like that and doing all of this, you don't understand that I have to be in alignment with the law of correspondence. This is a universal law. We're going to get to the fucked up part about the law of correspondence when we start talking about karma and shit. But as of right now, we just going to stick to the law of correspondence, right? When I was telling women, look, make sure you read the 48 Laws of Power before you start, listening to these niggas, bro. Listen to it. I don't want you to read the 48 Laws of Power because it's going to help you be powerful. It's going to show you who's trying to exert power over you. You feel what I'm saying? Manipulation and seduction are the same as influence. The only thing is integrity and intention. You feel what I'm saying? It's not hard to seduce a motherfucker. It's not hard to manipulate a motherfucker. I know because I can do it easily. Why? Because I see how influential I really am. I've been aware of how influential I was all my life, but I chose to have integrity with the shit. And have the integrity because I understand, yo, I've been a manipulator. I've been a seductor, the seducer and shit. I've been on those spaces and I understand you don't escape that karma, nigga. You don't escape that karma. When I when I talk about when I got cheated on and shit and that shit came back, nigga, that was a law of correspondence, baby. That was a law of correspondence. You feel me? And it pinged back to me because it's like, we ain't gonna give it to you yet. Source, God, Allah, Jehovah, Krishna, Buddha, whatever it is, it ain't gonna give it to you yet. It ain't gonna give it to you yet. It's gonna give it to you when you're able to understand it. It's gonna give it to you when you're able to understand it. During that relationship, when I seen how fucked up it was going, I started saying, why do I deserve this? What have I done to make like I haven't been wrong to this person, but you've been wrong to people. You've been wrong to women. You seduced women, and now look at you. You're getting seduced. You've played women. Now look at you. You're getting played. Why? Because at the core, this is what the resonance was supposed to be. So now when we go back to the media, when we go back to the entertainment, even if you read the book, Behold a Pale Horse, what do they say they're going to do? They're going to sit little Johnny in front of the TV, watch videos and everything so we can start programming. We're going to make sure this nigga corresponds the way we want him to correspond. When you look at the elements, they teach you that there's 4 elements of creation: air, fire, water, and earth. There's 7, my nigga. We're really 8 if you count the ethers, but there's 7. Air, fire, water, earth, sound, light, and thought. I'm going to keep you on, like, I'm going to manipulate the sound, light, and the thought elements. Elements build shit. I'm going to manipulate those because I know that those will be what affects your law of correspondence the most. Or affects how the law of correspondence affects you and works within you. You feel me? I control what you think. I control what you see, and I control what you speak. You feel me? Tying it back to the soul being the nervous system and all of that shit, just in case a motherfucker want to think I'm reaching again. When you go to the hospital, if you go to the hospital, they teach you to specialize in certain areas that affect the nervous system. One in particular, and this ties to the throat chakra, which is about communication, is the ENTs, the ear, neck, and throat. Why does the ear, neck, and throat all go together? Because that's where the chakra is. That's where the communication chakra is. This is why I say it's blocked by lies you hear and lies you tell, whether you know they're lies or not, because they generate your illusions. Because what you hear as the element of sound now has to build up to the element of light, which is what you see. That's where illusions come in. I don't be reaching. I don't be making shit up, y'all. I just understand how to see all of this shit now. You feel me? And I finally gotten comfortable sharing that. Y'all, I really see this shit. I used to not want to leave y'all behind. I used to not want to see like I'm so like but it's like, how you so high but still so down to earth? Because this is the law of correspondence. I don't want to get to a point where I want y'all to feel like there's a hierarchy up here. You feel what I'm saying? Because I understand this law. You feel me? Yeah, I'm above these niggas, man. Ain't nobody motherfucking thinking like me. Ain't nobody talking like I'm talking. I can let my ego get involved. I can let my ego get involved and you'll never know it's an ego because it'll be justified because the confidence is there. Because I can back up everything that I fucking say. This is one of the reasons why I'm comfortable telling y'all, go fact check what I say and then prove me wrong. Come back and tell me if I'm wrong. That's what I do. I don't want you to believe me. I want you to understand what I'm saying. Take this knowledge and go experience it and then gain the understanding. Now let's come back and converse so I can show you why I'm here. You feel me? Without making you feel like you're down there. As above, so below, as within, so without. This is why they say, if you ever heard the phrase, where motherfuckers is like, don't say it couldn't. This is why the law of correspondence is powerful in the context of never say never. But if you've seen my pages and you know what I'm saying, I've posted this a few times. If you remember, if you ever seen me post it, never say never, but you can definitely say never again. Never say never in the context that just because you're above doesn't mean you won't be below, because they're the same thing. Just because at this moment you're within doesn't mean you'll be without, because they're the same thing. Because that manifestation meets in the middle. You feel what I'm saying? This is why my page, this is why my brand, this is why the podcast itself is called Profane Profundity. You feel what I'm saying? When it comes to profundity, people, it's supposed to be up. This is why people have a hard time listening to me sometimes, which is fucking bullshit. And I fucking hate this shit now because motherfuckers bit my whole fucking flow. I was literally the first motherfucker comfortable enough to talk the way that I'm talking right now. Now everybody's doing it just like I'm doing it. Now people is like, nah, you can't say that they got that from you. They've already, like, yo, I started this. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. The only reason why I am not like on that popular side with all of the shit and run it, like, only reason why is because I had 5 brands that I had to build. I had 5 brands that I had to build, so I made sure not to show my face. I made sure not to put myself out there because I already knew that it was going to take me away from completing everything else that I needed to complete. I could have been did this shit. If you go to my YouTube page and go to the first YouTube video that I dropped, the first podcast YouTube video that I dropped, and look at it and tell me that these niggas ain't my children. I'm not trying to be rude or disrespectful, but this whole podcast space, because numbers don't lie, and I'm glad I dropped in. My first video was dropped in 2018, 2017, 2018. We're in 2025. They're just now doing what I was doing then. As above, so below. As within, so without. My correspondence was different, and now they're vibrating on the correspondence that I've already put out there. But again, I'm not going to spend time, pointing fingers saying, yeah, y'all niggas ain't this, that, and the third. But what I'm saying with that is that when it comes to the profane profundity, that's why I merge the two worlds. I give profundity in a very profane way. As above, so below. Because I have to merge that shit in the fucking middle. Because as within, so without, when my manifestations now have to come into the space, you have to be able to get it. You feel me? If I was just all profundity, I would sound like a fucking sage. I'd sound like a fucking sage. If I was all profundity, I sound stupid as fuck. I sound like a fucking fool. Now, because of the way society is now programmed, according to the law of correspondence, when you hear profanity, you think you're hearing a fool. Equally, when you hear profundity, you think you're hearing a sage. And the reason why that is the case is because when we speak in a way in which people don't understand, we think because we can't understand it, that they're at a level that we're not, or at a level we can't reach. I never want you to feel like that. I never want you to feel like that. I am just as versed as the gurus. I'm just as versed as the sages. I'm just as versed as a lot of motherfuckers, but I choose to be profane with it because I don't want the people to I want them to hear the foolishness, but get the wisdom out of it. Because now when we go back to the tree of life, when I go back to Malkuth and I go back to Kether is the start, Malkuth is the bottom. This is what all of the religions, all of the spirituality practices have been teaching you. As above, so below. This is why Jesus and God are the same motherfucker. Hercules and Zeus, the same motherfucker. Heru and Ra, the same motherfucker. The reason why is because it's like, oh, there's no difference. Exactly. As above, so below. Now when we go back to the first law of the universe, from the one come the all, therefore the all is the one. Everything and nothing. You're going to get to a point where you understand where all 12 laws of the universe come together. It should bring you right back to source. Because you understand, I am source and source is me. Exactly, nigga. Source is you when your vibration speeds up. You are source when source's vibration slows down. You feel what I'm saying? But it's because the law of correspondence has to be at play. So when I say the profane profundity, I do it within the intention. People are doing it for the attention. Like everybody bit my style. You've even watched motherfuckers change their style into what I was doing. There was time when motherfuckers wouldn't cuss. They wanted to be quote unquote professional. When I wrote my first book in 2007, not my first book. My first book was 2016. But when I wrote Hitting It Raw in 2017, everybody's like, yo, it's not professional. It's not that. It's not like, you feel me? You are giving scientific information and shit like that, but you're not presenting it in a scientific way. Why? I'm not talking to scientists. The fuck? I'm not talking to the people who would understand this shit from a biological, biochemical perspective. I'm talking to motherfuckers who don't. But they got it though. They got it. Everybody I know who has read Hitting It Raw was like, wow, how'd you make it so easy? Because it is that easy. They use these words to make it seem like it's harder because it's the law of correspondence. Because now you're going to depend on me because you don't understand what it is that I'm talking about. It seems rude. It seems fucked up. But you've heard me say it several times. Like, I want y'all to get the fuck on. Like, not on no shit. Don't stop listening to the podcast. Please keep listening to it. But what I mean is that when I teach you something, I don't want you dependent on me for learning, for having it. I want you to know it and go off on your own. Go forth and be great, my nigga. Go farther than I took it. Go, like, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't have to be validated or vindicated off of what I teach you or what I give you. I know what I know and I know what I understand, but I also respect and appreciate the law of correspondence. I don't violate it. I don't violate it. Because now, this is with the phrase when I say, when they say, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. But this is why I add, when the teacher is ready, the students appear. A lot of people are like, yo, why can't I find my tribe? Why can't? Because you ain't ready. You ain't ready. I'm going to say it a whole different way. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. When the teacher is prepared, the student appears. That's how I'm going to say it from now on. I like it like that better. You feel me? When the teacher is prepared, the student is ready. Niggas ain't prepared. Everybody's a teacher to somebody, but motherfuckers ain't prepared to teach. They're not prepared to give their own experience because of shame, because of guilt, because of doubt, because of so many different things that they have within themselves. They think their degree is what qualifies them to teach. No, your life experience does. You feel me? Your life experience does, because you have to prepare yourself to be able to teach somebody. You feel me? When I give my information for knowledge, for mastering the market and all of this shit, this is experience. I'm not teaching y'all. I'm not just regurgitating information. I'm telling you what I did. Every episode, we like almost 350 or some shit like that of this podcast. What am I telling y'all? My experiences with shit. I'm giving y'all the correspondence. That's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. I told you, I've been giving y'all all of this advanced shit early so you can start the process. So when I actually point it out, oh, that's what yes, that's what I was showing you. Now you see it. Now you see exactly what I'm talking about. You feel what I'm saying? But now when people imitate what somebody else is doing from an intention, they can't go but so far. That's why I don't mind motherfuckers stealing my shit. I don't care when you steal my shit. Because now when I go to the next level, you can't go. You can steal it, you can copy it, you can emulate it, but you can't do it. You feel me? And so for L3, I talk about duplicators and originators. The duplicators will always have a limitation. And they will always lag and be behind the originator. Every time. Y'all seen it yourselves. Because if you're new here, you haven't seen it because the old page got shut down. But when we started, when the slide twos started, I was doing it. Like nobody else was doing that shit but me. Now everybody's doing it. And so much so that everybody says, this person's second slide always gets me. That doesn't do anything for me because I'm beyond it now. I know the second slide. I know when people, I started that shit. I made it cool. I made it cool. And it's crazy because like people be like, but you wasn't popping. You didn't have the 100,000 followers. I didn't need it. Because the people that had $100,000 follow me. 100,000 followers follow me. So check this out. If you've heard my jam session, King's Vizier, I start that jam session off as, I'm not a king, I'm a king's vizier. So when they need advice to lead their kingdoms, I appear. Tying it back in, law of correspondence back to the beginning. Human beings to a mob. What's a mob to a king? What's a king to a god? What's a god to a non-believer? Like when you really think about it, women, and it happens on my social media still, but it used to be frequent and heavy back when I had a bigger page. They'll say, peace king. They'll king me or whatever. Don't call me a king. I get it. You view me as a king, but I'm a king's king. I'm a king's vizier. Kings come to me. The very people that y'all are looking up to, the very people that y'all are following have taken from me. But I don't get mad. The reason why I don't get mad and I don't, hey, that was my shit, nigga. You motherfucking, like, I know who's stealing my shit. You know who's stealing my shit. Y'all motherfuckers know who's stealing my shit. Y'all know motherfuckers who's stealing my flows. Y'all know who motherfuckers is stealing my style. I know, because y'all will come to me and hit me up in my DMs and say, yeah, you was talking about that 3-4 years ago. I know. And now that I am no longer talking about it, motherfuckers feel free to talk about it. Let them. Because now when it comes back and it's like, I got receipts for when I started talking about it. So when people try to say, yo, you're copying such and such, you'll be surprised. They're copying me. They're copying me, and they don't even know that I know they're copying me, because it comes off original because they're a duplicator. So much so you don't believe me. Look at the influencer pool. Look at how the podcast spaces, I mean, not the podcast space, but the influencer pool. Niggas is calling themselves content creators because they'll take a reel from somebody and then post themselves on it in a fucking green screen backdrop where they're just pointing at their ear. Like, listen to this. Nigga, that's not your content. But you gonna get more views and more exposure to it than the actual motherfucker who created the shit. Ain't that a bitch? This is why I don't mind, like, showing my face or whatever, not showing my face or not being tied to everything that I've done yet. Because it's like, I was still finishing it. Now, when I'm in the space of the correspondence, I'm tying this into the law of correspondence now. Now, when it takes off, what's within now has to be without. I wasn't prepared. I can admit that. I wasn't prepared for what's to come next. So within, I'm still within. I'm in hermit mode. I'm still doing it. So hermit mode is going to reflect on the outside. You feel what I'm saying? I was still sharpening my axe. I was still building this arc. I was still doing whatever it is that people want to identify it as. I was still doing these things because I knew that it would take me off my game if I did certain things right now. Like, you heard me say, I didn't want to stop with the So Frail series because then I'm the So Frail guy. That's all you can be. I didn't want to just do the master in the market because then I'm the master in the market guy. That's all you can be. Feel me? I had one traveler follow me years ago on my old page where he was like, I followed your page for stock advice and I ended up getting gems. Why'd you follow me for stock advice? You should have followed me for me. Like, that's something that I do. That's not what I am, my nigga. And I'm glad that I said that's what I am, because that goes into the law of correspondence. What you are, you are. And these are the two things that actually develop and create the mirror. People say I am is the most powerful combination of words that you could think of. The only thing next to that, and it's 1A and 1B, you can decide what's what, is you are. I am and you are extensions of the law of correspondence. I am is within, you are is without. So when you go out into the world and you interface with the people, right? The people that you interface with are the without, but that is the you are. You feel what I'm saying? You want to know what you are. You want to know what affirmations are within that you have developed to say I am. The external representation of that is what people show you are. A lot of people be in denial to what they are. A lot of people be in denial to what they are because they're not really paying attention to their circles. They're not paying attention to their environments. You feel me? And I'm not just going to use the people with I am and you are. I'm going to use a very simple example. A dirty room. When your room is dirty externally, internally, you're dirty too. And I don't mean dirty because, like, when I say a dirty room, you think of shit everywhere and papers and notebooks and shit just looks disorganized. You're disorganized on the inside. You're disorganized on the inside. When you have no structure and routine, you know, y'all have watched me rebuild this new page, right? The Seen the Light page. But coming off of watching me recalibrate from the old page, because I got shadow banned, I had to fix shit. Look at how different it is now. It's like everything is more seamless. Everything is more focused. You feel what I'm saying? Same shit. Although I was disciplined, although I was consistent, although I was building all of these other things of the past and shit like that, it was still all over the place. Because I was all over the place. It just didn't look like I was all over the place because I was locking in doing multiple things. A lot of people see multitasking and think that it's not necessarily all over the place. Oh, you're a good multitasker. That's not normal. They convince us to be multitaskers so we don't get anything done. Again, law of correspondence. When you're trying to apply for a job or whatever the case may be, are you good at multitasking? Are you good at doing multiple things at one time? I don't give a fuck how good you are at doing multiple things at the same time. You're not supposed to be doing multiple things at the same time. Which is ironic because you spend all of this time going through elementary school, middle school, high school, getting condemned and chastised for not being able to focus and having undivided attention and shit to go get a job that asks if you can divide your attention. Nigga, why were y'all criticizing us for practicing? We were literally practicing when we was in elementary school. We was practicing in middle school, and you told us to take medicine? You told us to take medicine when we should have been being refined. I put money on it. I ain't gonna say necessarily I put money on it, but it's just the reality. If you can find me a motherfucker that got ADHD right now, and they say they can't focus or whatever, I bet you they good at multitasking. I bet you they good as fuck as multitasking. So much so, I'm even taking one step further. Because this is me. I think I got ADHD. I just never been diagnosed with it. But I understand that ADHD is divided attention. That's it. Because they program us to be multitaskers. You see, they condemn and they condone at the same time. As above, so below. As within, so without. I'm going to condemn and condone. I'm going to make you try to find a medium. I want you to be a multitasker. I want you to be able to do multiple things at one time. However, I'm going to say that something's wrong with you because you can't focus. What? I'm going to say you cannot hold your attention. What? I divide my attention. And now you ask that as a skill set? They fuck you up. But when you clean up, right? You don't clean up in one small move. Like, you don't go in and say, I'm gonna clean up this. No, you just move around and you start putting shit where it goes. Periodically, you might stop and do this. You might look at some music. You might change a different, thing. Something. Let's say you cleaning your house, right? You might start off in the kitchen, do a little bit in the kitchen and shit. And then from the kitchen, you'll take something that was from the kitchen that's supposed to be in the living room. You'll put it back in the living room and then start cleaning the living room. From the living room, you take something that was supposed to be in your room. You take that into your room. You might sit down a little bit. And then from the room, you go to the bathroom. From the bathroom, back to the kitchen, all of that shit. Eventually, the whole shit gets clean. But at the same time, do you really clean it in a sequential order? No, you clean it in the way in which you know it needs to be clean. In which you start to identify this is dirt, this is dirty, this is dirty, this is dirty. And you start to move accordingly. That's multitasking. That's the shit that they want you to do. You feel me? That means, but your attention is not focused because you don't go and say, okay, I took this from the kitchen back into the living room. Okay, now let me go back into the kitchen and keep cleaning up. No, I'm in the living room now. Now let me start putting this away. Oh, damn, I do got to put this. Now I got to vacuum the floor. Now I got to do this and shit. Now you get something from the living room that has to go back into the kitchen. Damn it, why was this even in here? Let me go back into the kitchen. Oh shit, I was cleaning this kitchen. Now That's how the mind naturally works. It works fluidly in a flow. That's why you have ADHD. That's why you have attention deficit disorder, because when one thing catches your attention, it's supposed to move you to the next one. And now you spend time with that. If you don't come back to it, that means it was done. It was done. But that's the law of correspondence at play. And it works 100% of the time. So when you tell me that I have a problem focusing while you want me to be a multitasker, but you don't let me practice it. All multitasking is a controlled ADHD. When you really think about it. I'm able to divide my attention comfortably, but we don't want you to have divided attention. What? And when you don't understand it, that's what happened. We're going to put you we're going to say you got mental health issues. We're going to give you the very mental health issues that we tell you got. Like, that's why they're all the same. This now goes into the new name that they're calling motherfuckers. You have neurotypical and neurodivergent. Neuro represents the mind. It represents the nervous system in the brain, right? A neurotypical is the same mind. A neurodivergent is a different mind. They make you think that something is wrong with you because you're neurodivergent. No, nigga, you're normal. You're normal. You're normal. So much so, if you walked in nature, right, and you just walk in nature, you observing the trees and you see a squirrel scuttle across you and shit, when you see that squirrel, your attention goes to the squirrel. Instantly. You're not going to let the squirrel go past. Oh, don't focus on that squirrel. No, nigga, where the fuck are you going now, little squirrel? You gonna watch this squirrel run across you, climb up a motherfucking tree, go sit where it's gonna sit, and from that squirrel, you're likely gonna see a fucking bird. When you see that bird, you're gonna start observing the colors of that bird, and you're gonna hear a chirp or whatever the case may be. Then you're gonna hear a rustle in the leaves, and you're gonna turn and look at what the rustle. You ain't worried about that bird or that squirrel no more. Now you're worried about what the fuck is in them leaves. That's not neurodivergent, nigga. That's how the mind fucking works. Now, if I see the same squirrel scuttle across, you feel me? Now, mind you, I'm walking, I'm looking at a tree. I see the squirrel scuttle across. I say, fuck the squirrel and keep looking at the tree. Not only do I miss the squirrel that ran across, I'm not even fucking with the bird that it just would have let me see. And now I don't even hear the rustle of the leaves. I'm ignoring all this shit to focus on this tree. This tree that my attention was already diverted from. But that's neurotypical. That's neurotypical. We want everybody neurotypical. Like, niggas is really thinking neurotypical is a bad thing. I mean, it's a good thing. No, nigga, you're normal. You're normal, and I ain't gonna say you're normal, because neurodivergent is really what's normal. But you're in the normalcy. What everybody, quote unquote, thinks is normal. In school, all of the neurodivergent people were called weird. But weird motherfuckers are normal. Ain't that some crazy shit? They manipulated this whole motherfucking shit. But in the manipulation, they never went against the law of correspondence. I'm going to give you the words you don't understand. I'm going to tell you that this is what it is. I'm going to tell you, but I'm going to put connotations on it. And I'm going to put feelings on it so you don't really understand what it is that you're saying, so you feel a certain way about it. So inside, you're neurodivergent. Externally, you're neurodivergent. Oh, your life is chaotic. Your life is cluttered. Your life is because your perception of what it is. Now that's where perception and perspective and all that shit comes in. Your perception of yourself is what's fucked up. That's why you can't harness it the right way. You feel what I'm saying? Your perception of yourself is fucked up and you can't harness the correspondence correctly. So what are you going to manifest? If I manifest that neurodivergence is a problem, guess what? I manifest in my world problems. Because I can't stop being neurodivergent. If I process that neurotypical is good, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to manifest good things according to being neurotypical. That's good behavior. That's really all it is. You feel me? That's all it is. Now, it's going to go, well, you ain't got no psychology degree. So how dare you say, even psychology degrees don't mean shit. Because they're teaching you to know what they need you to know. They make you neurotypical. They put you all in alignment with the same thing. But it's like, I know that if you all correspond this way, you will identify this way. You know how many psychologists don't have empathy? They're no longer humans anymore. You feel me? Their human aspect is gone. This is one of the reasons why when you look at people that have certain jobs and certain credentials and shit, how the fuck can you do the job and you can't even, how the fuck are you doing the job, right? But you suffer from the problems of the job. Excuse me. Here's what I mean by that. I had seen this post and was like, yo, how do people that major in psychology still have mental health issues? Like, it's like, nigga, y'all got the answers. Y'all got the notes. Go read your notes, nigga. That shit was hilarious to me, but it was so fucking true. It's like, yo, how do you suffer from the shit that you can diagnose? Why are we not thinking about that? How are you helping people through the problems that you have? Put it in more clearer perspectives for you to see what I'm talking about. You feel me? How you a marriage counselor but you divorced? Nigga. How you a dentist with bad teeth? Nigga. How you a doctor telling somebody that obesity is the cause and you obese? Nigga. What the fuck? There's something wrong there. Something is wrong there. Because the correspondence is at play, but it's not right. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you got the answers, my nigga. How are you fucking up? Like, real shit. You got the fucking answers. How are you fucking up? If it's because the reality is you're designed to administer something. That's it. You're not designed to know how to do the shit. You're not designed to know anything, but you're not designed to have any experience or go into understanding. You're only designed to have knowledge. So yeah, I can diagnose this motherfucker with depression while I'm battling depression? Nigga, how? How in the fuck are you helping somebody else get out of depression when you still depressed? What? What? That don't make no fucking sense. That don't make no fucking sense. And a lot of people, justify the shit. Well, you can be going through it and you can have it. Like, no. I'm sorry. By understanding the law of correspondence, there's no way in hell you can convince me that the answers you're giving me work when you can't use them. Shameless plug. That ain't so shameless because this is my podcast. When it comes to mastering the market, trading and investing and shit, I can't tell y'all that this shit work if it's not working for me. Like when my students came and they got when I taught you the shit, I had to teach you what I was doing. I can't give you. This is why the MLMs and shit used to bust motherfuckers' ass, because motherfuckers be like, you giving me you're giving me the signal. Okay, how do I know the signal's gonna work? Well, that's why you set stop losses. So are you gonna use this signal? Like, are you gonna actually use this process that you're telling me? You feel me? That's why the MLM work. That's how MLMs work as a whole. We look at MLMs and we be thinking, oh, that's a Ponzi scheme. Bitch, everything is a Ponzi scheme, nigga. Everything is a pyramid scheme. Everything. When you win this motherfucking country, they want you to only know enough shit to be able to administer some shit, bruh. That's it. Because we want you to correspond into the way that we need you to correspond. We don't give a fuck if you actually going through the shit. You feel me? Doctors getting cancer. That shouldn't happen. That's not supposed to happen. That's not supposed to happen. I get it. Motherfuckers say shit like, well, it's in their family. It's hereditary. It's, they give you all kind of examples. You can't control how this, that, and the third. No, nigga, it shouldn't be that way. If you telling me how not to get something, you shouldn't have it. That makes the law of vibration. That makes the law of correspondence look shaky. You feel me? This is why religion now steps in as the buffer. Because I can scapegoat that as something. Do as I say, not as I do. No, nigga. What? No, I can't do as you say, not as you do. Because if you're not doing what you're saying, then we got a bigger problem. You're in violation of the law of correspondence. If you can't do what you say, why should I do what you say? You don't even know how to do what you say. The fuck? This is what gets me when parents and shit look at kids and say, you know better. Nigga, they copying you. How do they really know better? You feel me? I've seen it all my life. I've seen it growing up. I've seen it with all kinds of situations, friends, families, foes, hoes. It didn't matter. Motherfuckers will say, I watch motherfuckers say that their child knows better. I watch motherfuckers say that the child should have made a better decision or whatever the case may be, or, condemn the child and go in on the child. But then as an adult say, well, he ain't through with me yet. Nigga, he just started with the baby that you held to an unrealistic standard. You've been here trying. You about a hop, skip away from him actually being done with you. And you ain't got it yet? Why? Because you can scapegoat it as a devil. You can scapegoat it, but you cannot scapegoat the law of correspondence. This is happening in my life because I'm allowing this in my life. My life is like this because my life is like this. That don't make sense, Scene. Why are you saying the same thing? Because my life inside reflects the life outside. That's exactly what that is. That was a dramatic pause and shit. I was still here. But that's the whole thing. That's the whole premise of this shit. You feel me? Now, this is just the third law of the universe that we've gone oneness, vibration, and motherfucking correspondence. The spirals of your life. And every time I said this phrase, I wanted to say the next part and I keep getting off. Everybody says you can identify when somebody's spiraling out of control. Why the fuck can't we identify when somebody's spiraling in control? When people are spiraling in control, we start hating on them. Spiraling in control is getting your life together. That's it. That's it. Now, when people, the reason why a lot of people can't identify when you spiral, because we're in a space where motherfuckers like to gossip. Motherfuckers like to talk about shit. Motherfuckers like to have something negative to say. But a lot of people don't have anything positive to say. This is why they can't clap for you when you succeed. They can boo you all day long when you fail and they'll tell everybody, but they won't say shit when you're actually succeeding. When your life is spiraling out of control, everybody knows. But when your life is spiraling in control, nobody say shit. This goes into the law of correspondence, and now I'm going to start tying this into success. This is one of the reasons why people struggle with success. Because to be successful, your life now has to spiral in control. And when you are already wired into a space where you're used to people condemning you, you'll never understand that those same people that condemn you can't condone you. Why is nobody supporting when I succeed, but everybody is bragging and flashing about when I fail? Because law of correspondence is at play. Law of correspondence is at play. When people say like my friends and family don't support you because they know you before the spiral up changed. They knew the spiral down. You know I'm spiraling in a different direction. You know I'm corresponding with a different vibration now. They only know you from the vibration that they know you. So when you're trying to show them something different, they'll never see it. All they can do is see from what I am and you are. We want to be supported by friends. We want to be supported by family. We want to be supported by people that are close to us, but we don't respect the law of correspondence because we don't know that it's at play at that moment. Crabs in the barrel works with the law of correspondence, but it works in such a way in which they're not necessarily pulling you down. They're acknowledging what they perceive you to be because of the vibration that they've always known you for. They don't know you for this new vibration. Therefore, they don't know you for this new spiral. They don't know you for what's new, what newly is about to correspond. And it's hard for them to adjust to that because they're waiting for you to continue back in the vibration you've always been. I'm going to say this and I'm going to start trying to wrap it up. When I, quote unquote, woke up, and this goes into what I was talking about when I say, motherfuckers, they go back into the religion or whatever the case may be because they be thinking shit is a phase. Yeah, shit is a phase. You feel me? The law of correspondence doesn't work on change. It works on evolution. You can always change back. The law of correspondence works on evolution, my nigga. You have to be in a space where your entire vibration change in order for your correspondence to change. A lot of motherfuckers, this is why a lot of successful people, a lot of people that want to get out of poverty can't. Or they get out and they come back. Because you didn't change the vibration. You got lucky. You didn't change the law of vibration. You didn't change the vibration, so therefore the correspondence didn't change. Yeah, you got more money, but more problems because problems is all you know. That's where you vibrate at. You feel me? That's where you vibrate at. So what I'm saying is that I had, when I woke up, quote unquote, and I started getting into, my bag and shit, a lot of motherfuckers thought this was a phase. Oh, no, nigga, I changed my whole vibration. The correspondence has changed. The correspondence has changed. So much so that it's like, wow, you just walked away from, I'm not in that vibration no more. I don't want to deal with that. I don't think y'all understand the guilt that I would hold over my own head for staying in that shit, knowing what it's doing to people. You feel what I'm saying? And it got crazy because motherfuckers was like, well, if you would have been a doctor when COVID hit, more people would have listened to you. That's not my problem. That's not my problem. When I was telling people not to get vaccinated because it was an experiment, when I was telling people what PCR information is because I didn't have a white fucking coat, niggas didn't want to believe it. Nigga, I didn't lie. I didn't lie. I didn't tell not one wrong thing. I didn't give not one bad bit of information at all. But I knew I couldn't be a part of that system no more because of that. And now when it manifested itself and showed up, and now it's like, wow, you were right. I know. I didn't forget none of the information. I vibrated differently. That's some shit I didn't want to be a part of no more. And my life corresponded to that. Walking into entrepreneurship, I had to change my vibration. Beginning, I treated entrepreneurship like it was a job, like I was an employee. Oh, if I do this at this particular, this shit don't work like that. This shit don't stop, nigga. Your vibration has to change in order for you to be successful with this shit. You feel me? As above, so below, as within, so without. Motherfuckers is like, and this is why MLMs work so well, because motherfuckers really think they're business owners when they're not. You're still employees, my nigga. You're still fucking employees. And rather than getting a W-2, you get a 1099, but you're still an employee and your mindset still works on that because your correspondence is going to play that way. Now, when you go into that and you're not trying to be and you're trying to be an entrepreneur on a vibrational perspective, and you're still moving vibrationally as an employee, you'll never get but so far. You won't have those same, you won't move in the same way. But the correspondence is going to show you how you're moving every single time. Every single time. This is when I had to start sitting back and learning like, oh, nigga, I need a system, bro. I need a system. I can't just wake up on social media and just say, I'm going to post today. Woohoo! No, I have to have an intention as to why this system is going to work. Again, tying it back, if you follow me from my old page, I'm showing y'all the law of compensation. Not compensation. That's a different law. The law of correspondence. Have I been saying compensation this whole motherfucking time? I hope not. Because we almost done with this motherfucker, bro. But no, it's the law of correspondence. But in the beginning, it's just like, yo, all I got to do is, I was a hustler. I was like, yo, if I just post and I just keep, no, I need a system. I need my website. I need a funnel. I need clickable shit. I need all of this shit done. So when I post this shit, it's going to work. I need a system. I was in a vibrational space of just a hustler and calling myself an entrepreneur. Because I sold a few books here, I sold a few books there, and it's like, no, I need a system that every time I do this, I'm going to sell something. Every time I post this, I'm going to get some kind of traction to something. You feel me? I needed a system. And over time, as you watch how my pages, like I tried it with having multiple pages. Oh, keep everything separate because no, fuck that. Bring that shit together. Let you know, niggas, y'all buying it from this motherfucker right here. This profound motherfucker right here. This is what the fuck you getting products from. You feel me? There's no need for them to be separate entities. Fuck all that shit. That shit's too much. Now let me consolidate it and bring it into what I am. You feel me? And then now that's the law of correspondence that I had to respect and go back into the law of correspondence. As above, so below. Are you systemized within? Then you ain't gonna be systemized without. When I didn't have a system, I didn't have a system. You remember my old page if y'all had it? Like, it would be like, I'll post some bullshit. I'll post like 12 posts of bullshit and give you some philosophy and shit. Most of my page was because motherfuckers like my entertainment. They liked the entertainment, but they hated my information. And I didn't realize that until I started with this new page. I'm glad the old one got shut down because now that I'm posting more in the informational vein, it's like, oh, this is really what my content is supposed to be. This is how I get to my point, because if I'm just playing all the motherfucking time, what does that say about me on the inside? This is one of the things that I was saying. Like, I had to take into the law, it'll be compensation later, but I had to take into the law of correspondence that if on the outside, everybody thinks I'm playing, they think I play too much on the inside. Again, that's the you are part. Now the I am is, if I'm deciding every day to go play around, that means I play too much, bro. That means I play too fucking much, bro. Forget if I sneak the gems in between and all of that shit, nigga, I play too fucking much, bro. What do you remember me for? What do you fucking remember me for, bro? Playing? As serious as I take life, as serious as I contributed to, like, and this is when, again, using this law, I started to see what vibration I was really on, how I was actually using oneness, because I'm looking at it like, I play too much. My external world is playful. That means my internal world is playful too. And I get it, oh, it's okay, childlike behavior and all of that shit. That's cool to be childlike. There's other ways to do that shit. But if externally, the external world that I'm creating is a bunch of playful bullshit, that's what motherfuckers fuck with. Those are the type of people that I'm gravitating towards. And those are the type of people that I'm gravitating towards me. How? Because as above, so below, as within, so without. I play too much inside. I am playful. Therefore, you are playful. So when they see this shit, it's like, your post, I like your ratchetness, I like this, that, and the third. And then no, I don't want to be remembered for that. I don't want to be remembered for that. Because now when I look at the manifestation, the fuck, that's how it plays out. Because when these things converge as above, so below, I don't want to get so. Now, this is the thing. With me playing and, slide twos, the jokes and all of that shit, like that was real. I really wanted to do that. I was really in a space doing that, being creative, and that's how I presented my information. I have the hyena laugh after something funny. I have the Method Man. A lot of y'all remember these. I had the Method Man joint with somebody when I felt like something was some bullshit. Or when I'm about to be on some fuck shit, I put the Martin meme when he walks into the court. Like, I was on some shit like that. But then I started I got stuck into that. Because it's like, if that's what's externally being presented right now, what is internally being documented? You know what I'm saying? Within me right now, what is really there? So then now that's the within and without. Now look at the above and below. Everybody thinks I play too much. So I present like a jester, a fucking fool, a fucking clown. And I know that y'all are here and shit on some shit like, nah, saying we never took you like that, because y'all were the ones who were vibrating more so towards the informational shit. Like, there's far more people that were vibrating only towards the bullshit, which had me at the below and not the above. You feel me? I know now, you feel me, more so to move. I always knew, but I had to pick a side. Do I entertain motherfuckers? Be a joke? The fuck? When it's all said and done, with all of the serious shit that I put in the world, from masculinity, redefining that shit, my 3 books on, you know what I'm saying? Like, do I want to be known as, what do I want to be remembered for? That concept really came to me. I was one of my favorite battle rappers, Daylight. He was talking about a conversation he had with Math Alpha, because he was always trolling and shit. Daylight is one of the best writers in the world. Period. One of the best writers in the world. One of the best battle rappers. Honestly, right now, they say it's between him and Lux. Me personally, hey, if you from New York and if Lux is your mans and shit, y'all know I'm West Coast and shit, so I gotta rock with Daylight anyway. But I feel like Daylight will wash Lux. It ain't even close. Daylight will wash Lux. In the sense that, using the law of correspondence, Lux stays at the above. Daylight fluctuates between the above and the below. You feel what I'm saying? And in that context, it's like, you already know Lux's pen is going to take you at that level. Daylight can take his pen where Lux takes his, but Lux won't take his pen down. And Daylight will meet in the middle of that shit. Right? So when I look at Daylight, I remember Daylight for his bars. But when I talk about Daylight with some people, they be like, the trolling nigga? The motherfucker who got naked on stage? The motherfucker, like... And when he was talking about that, he was like, it started fucking up my legacy. As dope as a lyricist as I am, what do people remember me for? They don't remember my bars, bro. Daylight still got the illest punchline, he still got the illest room shaker in battle rap history. Illest room shaker, when he was like, if I chase a nigga, Glock chase a nigga, funeral homes will box wake a nigga, you can get the open hand, the fist of the deuce, rock, paper, scissors. Nigga, that shit shook the fucking building, bro. And it's still one of the greatest punchlines, in my opinion, it's the best, but it's one of the greatest punchlines or bars ever hit. Daylight has so many of these bars that are eclipsed and overshadowed by his trolling. The law of correspondence. The law of correspondence, bro. And I started to see that happen to myself. All of these gems, all of this shit that I've been giving motherfuckers, all of the thoughts and just the way in which I presented my information to the world, all of this shit that I have been given have been eclipsed by the bullshit that I was doing. And I'm being transparent in this because I need y'all to understand I can't teach y'all about these laws if I don't show you how I use them. I don't show you how I was able to acknowledge them and show you how I've been using them. I don't want to just get to a point where I'm showing you and I'm talking about this shit and it's like, this is what you should do. This is what you need to do. And I'm reading off of a script of, hey, this is that. I don't write this shit down. I just let it go because I know what the fuck I'm talking about. Because I know what I experienced and I understand the law of compensation. I mean, that must be the next law we got to talk about. But I understand the law of correspondence. You feel what I'm saying? This is what it means to as above, so below, as within. But this is why the centerpiece of that is knowing yourself. Nobody wants to be willing to know themselves because to know yourself, it takes you on a journey that embodies and encompasses this entire law. Because how do people see me? Because that's how I project to people. You feel what I'm saying? What do they see? Do they see me above or do they see me below? You feel me? I needed a space where I can come and be in that one moment. And I knew this early when I first started. Again, y'all got to go through the phases of, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna start trying to wrap it up. Y'all got to go through the phases of the pages for however long you've been here. When I first, started fucking with the conscious community and shit, my name, my IG name was Nessuit Racine the First, right? I'm King Scene the First. Like I've always called myself King Scene. It rhymed and that's all I've done. But then it changed when it changed to Just Scene. Look at that shit. When I changed my name to Just Scene, so many people's Instagram name changed to Just and that. I was like, y'all are some biters, bro. Do y'all know why I do what I do? Just doesn't mean that I'm the basic level of myself. It means just as in balance, fair. You feel me? But I went into that under the law of correspondence. You feel me? That's why I was like, I'm nothing less but always more. Those things, you had to hear the old podcast to hear that quote when I said nothing less but always more. Or did I say it here? I think I might have said it in the ad or two here. But I don't know. But that's been the thing. But it's always been in alignment with the law of correspondence, bro. And it's been in alignment with the law of correspondence in such a way that it's like I didn't want to get so wrapped up into certain shit. But at the same time, I was already on a vibration that showed me what the correspondence was. I've been a ladies' man, bro. Like that's most of your followers are women. I know, because I can't turn this shit off, bro. I'm in a vibration that makes it comfortable for that. But I knew how to leverage that shit to add the vibration into, hey, I got to get my message out to dudes. So I'm going to exploit women like everybody else do, but I'm going to exploit women in the context that once I get on this vibration, the women are going to come to me. When the women come to me, they're going to take my shit to their men. I knew what I was doing. You feel me? Because I knew what I needed to be within in order for it to be present on the external world. But then I started playing too much. Because motherfuckers is like, you gotta make people like you, follow. Like, I only wanted people to like a piece of me. I'm gonna be honest. I only wanted people to like a piece of me. I only know this part. I don't want you in my life. I don't want you in this world. Like, fuck that. I don't want you in the within. But in order for me to have a without for you, I have to embody that in order for it to work. Case in point, tying it into the cleaning aspect. If my room is dirty, if my room is disorganized, I'm disorganized inside. So if the bullshit that I'm putting out, even if I have an intention for why I'm doing it, I'm going to stay in that frequency. I'm going to stay in that vibration and everything is going to correspond for it. If I don't change that frequency, if I don't change that vibration and I don't tap into a different oneness, I'm not going to correspond. The world is not going to correspond to the way I want it to, which goes into manifestation. People keep thinking it's just hope. It's just, I want this in my life, so I'm going to manifest it. No, do you know what a manifestation really is? Manifestation doesn't come until vibration is established. Because it opens up and ushers in the law of correspondence. And the law of correspondence is the law that allows your reality to start being dictated. You feel me? I don't think people are taking that into heavy consideration. Not because they can't, but because they don't know that this happens. Because you know what's interesting? The very law after the law of correspondence is the law of attraction. Do you feel what I'm saying? The law of attraction is so glamorized that it's the fourth law, but it's the law of transaction. The law of attraction is so glamorized, but how many motherfuckers are telling you about the law of attraction based off of the first three that preceded? Because now that we understand the law of correspondence, it makes sense why the law of attraction works. If the law of correspondence is as above, so below, as within, so without, what I attract, for my law of attraction to work, I have to be in sync with the law of correspondence. For the law of attraction to work, I have to be in sync with the law of vibration. For the law of attraction to work, I have to be in sync with the law of divine oneness. And the other ones after that, but we haven't talked about those yet. So, take our time. But the law of attraction also governs and has the balance with the law of repulsion. Ain't nobody talking about that. Because now when you're on a certain vibration, as within, so without, the very shit that you attract, you equally have to repel something else. You feel what I'm saying? You feel what I'm saying? So when you look at how they programmed us to what they want us to correspond to, what do you think now happens into when they tell us to attract some shit? Why do I only attract fuck boys? Why do I only attract gold diggers, nigga? What do you correspond with? You correspond when men be like, why do I only attract gold diggers and bitches that, do X, Y, Z? Because you are aligned to correspond as a trick. Men are supposed to protect and provide. I gotta have a bag. I gotta go blow this money on these hoes and shit. And you wonder why you get gold diggers, nigga? And you wonder why you repel the other women? Why do I only get fuck boys and this, that, and the third? What have you internalized? This is why I tell you, I've been saying this for a long time. The universe does not give a fuck what you want or do want. It gives a fuck what's on your mind the most, because what's on your mind the most ties into what you correspond with, which vibrationally determines how the correspondence is going to happen. You feel what I'm saying? Everything that manifests itself is based off of the correspondence. And now your manifestations, are you going to be attracted to what you really want? Or are you going to be repelled to what you really want? That's how poverty and wealth works so fucking well. You have impoverished people right now, people that are in, we can end the poverty disparity and all of that shit. You can't end poverty, because poverty is not based off of the money. It is based off the law of correspondence. It is based off the law of correspondence, and now it fuels into the law of attraction. You mean to tell me poverty-stricken people, they are attracted to poverty? Wealthy people are repelled by it. Now, poverty, there's a certain set of actions that are in place to make sure you stay impoverished. You can be the most articulate, you can be the most educated, you can be the most beautiful, you can be whatever the case may be. However, if your vibration is a poverty vibration, and you are now in a lack mentality, you think you don't deserve some shit, or you think that the bare minimum is all you're worth, or you think just going to work, getting your paycheck is enough for you, you are in poverty. And the world corresponds accordingly. We're seeing it play out right fucking now. If you don't want to believe me, I'm going to say this and I'm really going to wrap it up. We see it playing out right now. The stocks are crashing. The market is going to shit. But you see who's wealthy and you see who's poverty stricken. And you see what they're attracting. You see how their world is now corresponding to them. There's people right now, the markets are crashing. Why aren't you short selling? What? I'm taking my money out. No, why aren't you short selling? If it's going down, short sell. If it's going up, buy. What the fuck are you doing? Why don't you know to do it? Because my vibration never told me to do this. My vibration told me that if I got a good job, I saved my money, I would never be in poverty. No, nigga, that's why you're in poverty. You vibrate on a frequency that wealthy people told you to vibrate on. They don't even use that shit. Them niggas don't save money. Their money stays moving. You want to hold it for what? A rainy day. Do you see where your mentality already is? They teach you to save your money for rainy days and emergencies. That means you are already wired in a position that that's all that's going to be around you. Not to be on no funny shit. Wealthy people don't have emergencies. I know, it's like, what? That everybody has problems that they face, but wealthy people don't have emergencies. Poverty-stricken people have emergencies that they never have the money for. So now when this is your correspondence, as above, so below, as within, so without, it doesn't matter how much motherfucking money you get, more money, more problems, because you are already in a poverty and you're already in a problem-oriented world and you don't have motherfucking solutions for the shit. This is why you end up being reactionary instead of proactive. Show me a motherfucker who's, I'm not poverty. I'm not trying to be in poverty, whatever the case may be. I put money on it. They're not proactive in their life. They only react. This is why they need emergency funds. This is why they need shit like that, because they only know how to react. Here's where it becomes extra problematic, because when people want to get out of that poverty-stricken mindset, they don't want to change the vibration that led them into that space. You can have as much money as you want and still be in a poverty-stricken mentality. You can have as much money as you want and still be in a vibration of poverty, which is going to correspond to a poverty-stricken reality, where you're competing instead of collaborating. You feel what I'm saying? They've already programmed you for this. They've already programmed you for this. They've already honored the law of the universe that shows correspondence. So when this law is at play, you're going to respond. You're going to correspond accordingly to how this law is supposed to play out. And don't forget to check out Paula Cafe Clothing, formerly Just Scenes merch. Get all of your intricate designs crafted specifically for the melanated being to develop a positive imagery within self and to have a little bit of fun in the process. From the peace, love, knowledge, and freedom to the dead horses and water designs, all of the styles are crafted for the imagery to make you feel as you're supposed to feel. Because as I always say, the best way to fit in is to stand out. And what better way to stand out than with your exclusive styles from Paula Cafe Clothing. All right. I'm going to go ahead and end it there. But that's the law of correspondence, bro. As above, so below, as within, so without. We say it all the time, and people say it from, woke shit, conscious shit, all this other shit. And they talk about this law, but they never adhere to it correctly. It's good to go and talk about shit that I want you to do, but I can't talk about shit that I know how to do. You feel me? It sounds good to create the cult following to make motherfuckers believe that you woke and you this, that, and the third. Hey, chosen one, y'all. Look, I'm going to tell you like this. Ain't no such thing as a chosen one. Ain't no such thing as a chosen one. That is a adherence to the law of correspondence to make you perceive that you're special, that you're one of one, that you are one of one. But you're not the only one who's one of one. Everybody, all 8 billion of us on this motherfucking planet are one of one. However, we get locked into a programming that teaches us that we're the special one of one. Now you can open up the cultic shit because now your deity, no, you were given life to use all 12 universal laws as you're supposed to use to get whatever it is that you want to get, have whatever you want to have. So when people say, I was called to do this, were you? Or is that just a desire that you wanted to have and you didn't act on it? I hear people say all the time, again, this goes into the poverty side. Everybody knows what they're not, but none of what they are. I know people right now still looking for their purpose, but say they can tell you what their ministry isn't, but they can't tell you what their ministry is. Why? Because you're not on a vibration to even have a ministry. You feel me? What are you good at? Vibrate into that shit, and then everything's going to correspond according to that. So when people say, what is your gift? Your gift will make way for you. The reason why your gift is going to open doors for you and make room for you is because your gift is the thing that you're easiest to come to you. I'm going to say it like that. Right? When you vibrate according to always using that, of course it's going to open doors for you. Anything that you do repetitively in a corresponding way to be beneficial, it's going to benefit you. People think that their gift has to be some mystical, grandiose thing that is like, it doesn't. It doesn't. Your gift is life, and you can do whatever the fuck you want to do with it. You feel me? I happen to be gifted with writing. I happen to be gifted with thinking. I have to be You know why? Because I chose to vibrate on those frequencies, bro. That's it. That's it. It ain't no like I'm not no highly intelligent motherfucker that's just like, an anomaly. No, nigga. I'm just as smart as anybody else. I'm just as dumb as anybody else. You feel what I'm saying? As above, so below. I am nothing different than anybody else. I just choose to vibrate on a frequency to make certain things correspond. So what does that mean? I'm going to read certain books. I'm going to learn certain words. I'm going to do certain things to make my vibration better. Therefore, my correspondence becomes better. Therefore, when I walk into the law of attraction, I get what the fuck I want in alignment with what the fuck I'm doing. I ain't trying to mystify the shit and make it seem like it's something special. So now it's like when people, well, you don't have to believe in a God when you understand what a God is. And you understand that you are a physical representation of the spiritual divine and vice versa. So that's why you're made in the image and likeness, my nigga. Why is that so difficult? Why is that so hard to compute? How the fuck are you do you know that you're creating the image and likeness of a deity, but you can't be what the deity is? That don't make no fucking sense to me. Imagine being told that you're creating the image and look what this is going to do to you according to the law of correspondence that we all just went through. You're told that you're creating the image and likeness of a deity, but you're born a sinner. Deities don't sin. Sit with that, my nigga. Like, really sit and think about that for a second. You're creating the image and likeness of a deity, but you were born a sinner. When you were created, you were bad. You were born bad. Deities don't sin. What the fuck does that leave you to do? Put you on a vibration of being a sinner. And if you're not on a vibration of being a sinner, you're always on a vibration where you're trying to avoid sin. What does that do to you? It puts you in a state of fear at all times. You know why? Because God is everywhere and in everything. And when God is everywhere, and when you don't know where God is, you have to assume that God is there. And you have to be on your best behavior at all times. That's not an accident, my nigga. This is the law. This is this was the Council of Nicaea's play. They knew the 12 laws of the universe. Every religion, every spiritual text, everything that preceded what they did at the Council of Nicaea knew that all of this shit is supposed to show you the 12 laws of the motherfucking universe, bro. In addition to showing you the 12 laws of the universe, it's designed to show you how to apply them to yourself. Everybody did it except these niggas. They said, no, we're going to give them commandments and reduce this shit and not even tell them what the 12 laws of the universe are. We not. We going to make sure we keep them on the same vibration so we know how to make them correspond. And while we can dictate what they attract. We can dictate. It's motherfuckers right now that think their life is just supposed to be fucking bad because, I was just born this way. Life for me ain't been no crystal stair. It's black folks. And this is how the promise of heaven was so easy because it does not go against the law of attraction. It does not go against the law of attraction. Heaven and hell are easy to preach because, the law of correspondence. If you vibrate on this particular way, when you die, this is what's going to happen to you. This is what you will accord. If you vibrate this particular way, this is the life that you correspond with. When you correspond with this way, this is the aftermath that you're going to attract. We're not going to tell you that ain't none of this shit is real. But we're going to start programming you as a child when you can't tell the difference between fantasy and reality. So your entire correspondence is going to be predicated upon a fear that you have of a place that you've never seen before. That's a dramatic pause for a fucking reason. This is the law of correspondence right fucking now. Every time you go to church, what do they tell you? What you shouldn't do. What you shouldn't do. What you shouldn't do. This goes back into the as within, so without, as I was talking about. The without is the you are. The within is the I am. When you told what you are not supposed to do or what you are not, you now internalize that as I am. And how does the correspondence now play out? You don't need a book to tell you not to kill a motherfucker. You don't need a book to tell you not to steal from a motherfucker. You don't need a book to tell you these things. It's just so coincidental that every commandment that you were given is every commandment that you were given are the biggest problems in poverty-stricken environments. Infidelity, murder, theft. That's not a coincidence in any way, shape, or form. Like, really sit and think about that. I'm going to tell you what you shouldn't do and what you can't do, but I'm going to put you in the conditions that make these things happen. But now you can be put to shame, and I can fuck you up and put you in a certain position because you now believe that these things are bad. They are bad. But now I have already internalized. So now when you go along with it, now your chakras and your personal identity is not developed. Some of the most popular commandments, there's 10 of them, but I only know the most popular ones for the most part. Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not lie, thou shalt not bear false witness, thou shalt not commit adultery. Just those 5 out of the 10. Those are the number one violated commandments and number one violated things in poverty-stricken environments. Because there's a law of correspondence at play that ain't nobody seeing play out. And when I've already programmed you from a child that you're a born sinner, why wouldn't you do the sins? When I put you in a state of survival, why wouldn't you violate these 5 commandments? But now I've already told you not to do it, so now you're saying I won't, or you're saying I am. As above, so below, as within, so without. When you're trying to survive, all that shit is out of the window. All of that shit is out of the window because the law of correspondence is going to play out. And from the law of correspondence, guess what you're going to interact with? You're going to bring in the law of attraction. You only attract to what you vibrate. This is why they say you attract what you are. This is what they really mean. You attract what you are. Now you see, just from these last three laws going into the law of attraction, from vibration to correspondence to attraction. You attract what you are. You also repel what you are. And how you perceive whether you should attract it or not. I've dealt with women who would say shit like, what did I do to deserve a man like you? Oh, I gotta go. Your vibration shows you don't even want this. I had to learn this shit. Motherfucker would literally tell me they are not in a frequency or not on a vibrational space to actually be with a motherfucker like me. And I'm sitting here trying to prove to them that, no, nigga, they're proving to you that they not fucking with you. That they can't fuck with you. Their vibration is so fucked up, they don't even know how they attracted you. The laws that are at play shows that their vibration and what they correspond with shows that they are oblivious to why they attracted you. They don't know how. Run. Fucking run. When you hear a motherfucker say they don't know what they did to deserve you, or they start asking questions, why you want to be with somebody like me? The 12 laws of the universe are at play in your face right fucking then. They don't even know why they have just attracted the type of person you are. They don't know that they have attracted goodness in their life and they don't know why. That's crazy. But here we are, when we are not aware of what these laws are in place, we're completely overlooking it. I did. Oh, nah, you deserve a man like me. You feel me? I'm going to show you, I'm going to raise your vibration. I'm going to make you a better. No, nigga, this person is clueless as to why they've attracted you. Because the law of correspondence is how manifestation begins. And the manifestation leads into what you attract or what you repel. This motherfucker doesn't even know why they've attracted you. And you still there? Because now you are now coming into terms with the fact that as above, so below, as within, so without. How are you manifesting things that don't understand why you've manifested them? Now, when we go back into the religion and the scapegoats of blaming it on gods and devils, when you ask somebody, how did they achieve something? It was nothing but God. Or that was nothing but the devil. I don't know why I've attracted this into my life. Not realizing that there's a law at play that says whatever I attract into my life, I am. And whatever is attracted into my life, I am. This is why they say you are what you attract. Because the law of correspondence is at play to make sure that whatever vibration you on, you will manifest the very things that come into you. The law of attraction is not writing down on paper and saying this is what you want. No, the law of attraction is being able to vibrate on the frequency of the things that you want. That means reading, that means learning, that means studying, that means all consumed in the things that you want. And now the law of correspondence has to happen because now you're doing it from all perspective, as above, so below, as within, so without. The good things, the bad things, I'm able to vibrate on those to understand everything about this. And then the community that I make and the way I feel about myself is going to all bridge the gap to make the manifestation, which opens the door to whether I attract or repel it. It ain't hard, but it's difficult as fuck because you're not privy to the 12 laws, bro. They not going to tell you the 12 laws for this very reason. We only at law number 3 going into law number 4, and you can pretty much see they got us fucked up. And they're going to continue to have you fucked up because there's a buffer in place to make sure you don't understand these 12 laws. But I'm the buffer breaker, bitch, and I'm going to go ahead and end it there. Go kiss your babies and our kids. Hey, look, our kids are already well aware of the law of correspondence. They're aware of all 12 laws. Here's why we fuck them up. We were like, why are you doing what you're doing? Why are our kids bad? Why? Because what vibration is your baby on? What vibration is your baby on? Because that's what corresponds with them. When you send your little kids to school and shit, they're like, they don't do that at home. Nigga, that's where they got the vibration from. That's where they got the vibration from. They just knew how to behave well enough to not get in trouble, so they don't let the correspondence show. That correspondence come out like a motherfucker in school. Oh, I got bad kids. Because you put them on a bad frequency. Oh, my kid's this, my kid's that, my kid's this. Whatever your kids are, you are. Because they are only corresponding to what they're allowed to vibrate on. And we know what we put our kids in a vibration for, whether we're aware of it or not. What they eat, what they think, how they sleep, what time they sleep, all of these different things. We put them in those vibrations. And then we get shocked when the correspondence kicks in. I never told you to do that. I never told you to be like that. I never told you to do that. You know better than that. No, they don't. They correspond to their frequency. They correspond to the vibration that you put them on. And now when the babies get older and shit, and now they want to have a conversation, what's the next thing? I did the best that I could. I put you on the only vibration that I know how. I'm sorry the correspondence made this happen. Your life is playing out the way that it's playing out because of the law of attraction, and it's not my fault. It's not my fault. I just put you on a vibration because somebody told me what divine oneness was supposed to be, and I had to put my baby on a good behaviors to make sure that they're covered by the blood and they don't go to hell. So now I put you on a vibration of fear. I put you on a vibration of torment because I have to make sure that you don't violate this law of oneness. And now when your life corresponds on it, it's not my fucking fault. I did the best that I could. With everything that you've attracted, when we get into the 4th law, we about to get deeper into this. But with everything that you've attracted, it ain't on me. And you wonder where your mental health issues come from. From embodying and locking into a religion without understanding the 12 laws without understanding the allegory the religion was supposed to represent to bring you to understanding all 12 universal laws. But your motherfucking ass knows some goddamn commandments. Wow. When it comes to our kids, bro, we need to understand that these laws are always going to be in play. We need to put them on the right vibration in order to understand how to correspond correctly in this world. Until we do that, our babies are going to keep getting fucked over. And then the cycles are going to complete. Why? Because the forces that be have aligned the world along to these 12 laws of the these 12 laws of the universe. And don't nobody know that these 12 laws are at play. They think niggas are just evil. No, nigga, these niggas ain't evil. They just put 12 laws in the universe and programmed you with the vibration they want you to do to correspond with. So now everything that you attract and repel, they know. They know because they've been programming you since you was a kid. With the TV, the imagery, what you see is you believe, nigga, they programmed you for this shit. It's crazy. But it's real. And I'm going to go and end it there because this shit longer than a motherfucker. Go kiss your babies. Make sure they eat their vegetables. And I'm going to see y'all all on the next one. I hope y'all ready because the next one, we going in. Because we been going in. Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom, y'all. I'm out.